This video contains the top 3 best Town Hall 12 attack strategies that you can use after the balance changes to 3-star any base that you see. Now let's start with the one with the least amount of change to it, the Zap Witches. This is definitely still a great strategy where we're going to start off with the lightning spells, using 1 earthquake and 4 lightning spells to remove 1 inferno, and doing the same thing on the other inferno with 4 lightning and 1 earthquake. This is going to allow you to remove 2 different multi-target infernos. This should leave the Town Hall, the 3rd multi-target inferno or single inferno, and the Eagle artillery that you can take down. Pretty much from there, you can get into your spam portion, using the golems and the ice golem, followed by using the witches in a line with your heroes and the log launcher. You do want to use an early Grand Warden ability to encompass all the heroes, as many witches and golems as you can. That way you can deal with the enemy CC quite easily with the poison spell that you bring, and of course, you've got your witches and your skeletons just clearing through early buildings and defenses. If you can get to the Eagle artillery early, that is incredibly helpful. Despite the nerf, it can still be pretty hard to deal with. But of course, you have the Barbarian King to go in for the Town Hall. In case things like this split, you might have a couple witches be able to take down the Town Hall. Taking Valkyries within the CC can also help get through a wall, since a lot of buildings and a lot of defenses do a lot less damage, so you can very easily take down buildings very quickly. Other than that, you can really just allow everything to completely overwhelm the defenses. It might be a little bit slow, but for the most part, the witches have a lot more DPS, so they're able to get through defenses a little bit quicker, but isn't really as different as what it was in the past. Overall, as long as you can keep a majority of the witches alive thanks to the golems and to your heroes, you will be able to 3-star more often than not with a strategy like this, but it's still a very top tier contender if you prefer to use spam. Now, while there was no direct changes to dragons, the nerfs to all defenses really made them just so much stronger. Pretty much, you're going to have a lot of different flexible options, including using a Yeti blimp to remove something like a single or multi-target inferno compartment, followed by maybe even going in for an air defense. But if not, you can always take lightning spells. You can bring in 2 lightning and 1 earthquake to clear 1 or 2 air defenses. And you, of course, have your Barbarian King to set one side of your funnel. This is using the Vamp Stash with the Spiky Ball, which if you have access to the Spiky Ball and not the Gauntlet, this is a pretty solid combo that definitely works here at Town Hall 12. You can also use the Giant Arrow with the Queen and her healer puppets to snipe off another air defense, basically allowing you to get rid of all the air defenses, especially if you have the king locked onto one. This will allow you to have so much funneling, especially ready for your dragons and balloons. From here, we get to the dragon portion, and this is where you have a lot of flexibility. You can bring in the use of the Rage Gem or the Life Gem, but in this case, we got the Fireball with the Eternal Tome, since we're using a later Warden ability. As this way, we can have the dragons get closer to the core, use the Fireball with the Eternal Tome, protect all the dragons, and do massive damage. It just works really well here at Town Hall 12 since you don't have the Healing Tome. Other than that, the Town Hall barely does as much damage, so you don't really need to worry about using any spells on it. And instead, what you could do is use those spells on other things, such as the Inferno Towers or keeping your dragons powering through. But otherwise, this is a pretty easy strategy. It's really easy spam, and you have a lot of flexibility, like you can do what I did here, with plenty of different hero equipment if you have them upgraded, but if not, you can always take lightning spells, getting rid of as many air defenses as possible, and your dragons can just quickly get through like it's nothing. So that really goes to show just how powerful dragons are, especially after the nerf to a bunch of defenses, basically rendering most of them completely useless, especially the Eagle artillery with that 50% decrease. Now, arguably, after these balance changes, there's one strategy that you literally can never stop at Town Hall 12, and that is Super Witches. And not just any regular Super Witches, but this is Fireball Super Witches. So you're going to start with the Warden and his healers, try to make sure that the healers are not within range of the air defenses, but but you want to make sure that you're able to clear as many defensive buildings as you can. So you want to make sure that once you've cleared enough of the defenses closer to your warden, you can start to use invisibility spells, making sure that you don't activate the town hall. So if there is one by the town hall, that's even better, but using them on those close buildings and sending it into the core with 2 earthquakes is enough to remove both the enemy CC and the eagle artillery. This allows you to set one part of your funnel, which is pretty massive, while the town hall is being taken down with the warden. You've got your king and the siege barrack on the other side to basically cut off the funnel. The king is there to kind of just continue to work on, and you can break him in later on in order to even get more value. But once you've cleared a solid funnel on both sides, it's time to start your super witches. From here, you'll want to lure over the warden with your queen and or super witches as you continue to power in. With those super witches though, you want them to enter the base, so using a super wall breaker is really nice, but also using a jump spell to get them into the core. Yes, it was already destroyed by the fireball, but you can just see how destructive this strategy is. There's just no way to stop it after this point. Like, the super witches and the big boys are just going to go ham on the rest of the base. You have jump spells to get them across the rest of it. Even if there are single target infernos, they're just going to get completely overwhelmed thanks to the fireball just doing so much damage to the rest of the buildings. So it really does allow you to easily move through. Now, while you don't have a back-end royal champion, you do have either hog riders or super hogs that you can take. Either way, they are very good CC troops to bring, as you can very much utilize them to the fullest extent and get the most value. I would recommend though taking some form of cleanup so you don't enter a time fail. So bringing in some minions instead of 4 super witches, you could always take 1 less and still get the most value while still also taking cleanup. It's just really important, so that way you're not time failing all the time with super witches, but even without them, you can still 3-star with enough time to spare, with the super witches being so strong with the fireball. So that right there are just some of the best options that you can use right now. And of course, not much has changed at Town Hall 12, but these attacks are a lot easier, especially Fireball with Super Witches. If at any point you should be using Fireball, it really should be starting here. But if you want to learn more about the Fireball, I have a guide right here that you should check out, because this equipment is really, really strong.